You know, some people in this world think they got everything all figured out and that everything will be all equal and nice and plain and Jane and square on all sides. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is not actually the case. As one Caitlyn Jenner has yet again proved. How is it that as a transgender who's speaking out for many of that minority is actually going to come out and say, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really support gay marriage? Not because it's the letter of the law or anything, but because I am a conservative, a traditionalist. What part about that conservative and traditional lifestyle actually supports you when many of the politicians who you claim to be backing at this juncture are against everything that you quote unquote claim to stand for? Now, a lot of people aren't buying in that you actually stand for, and it's just another publicity stunt by the Kardashian family. I mean, hey, getting rid of your dick is just like taking a black man, so I guess that would get you just as many views, and that would support the narrative that follows your family. Now, I'm not here to crack all the wise jokes. I'm not here to put smiles on people's faces. But what I am here to say is, where do you get off on your own bullshit? I mean, it's bad when Ellen DeGeneres has to expose you as a fraud. Let's just think about that. It's not like you were called out to go to Jerry Springer. It's not like you had Steve Wilkos telling you, get the hell off my stage. Hell, it's not even like you were on a classic show like Oprah. You were on midday television on the most tame stage of them all. Ellen. Ellen's not known for roasting people. Ellen's not known for calling people out. Ellen isn't known for making people look like the frauds that they are. But here you come strutting in and have the audacity, and this is a quote, mind you, to say, if marriage is that important to you, then is that not the most backwards, or should I say backhanded compliment that you can give to anybody that supports gay marriage? Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, if all you're going to come down to is, if marriage is that important to you, I guess I'll give it to you. Really? Really? After all they went through, after all the struggle, after all the strife, after each protest here, after having people getting beat for being trans, all this under the spectrum, you woke up one day in your 40s or 50s, however old you are, and was just like, I want a clitoris instead of a dick. And yes, sir, you got it. Yet ever since you've got it, what have you done for your people? You've accepted an award that you really didn't deserve due to the simple fact that when's the last time you've done anything for the actual athletic community? When was this Rubik's Cube made? 2003. Wow, this thing has actually done things more than you have in that time span. It actually got solved. It actually did something. It amused people. It actually was entertainment. Not this garbage and gobbledygook that you've been cooking up in your little clitoris furnace down there, or whatever you want to call that new modern day technology genitalia. Heard it's the Clitoris 7? Came up after the iPhone. There's an app for that if you don't believe me. You just insert it in there. You can see the temperature. You can see how good it is. You can see if it's gushy, if it's wet. You can see if it's real. It's not. It doesn't pass any of those checks because it's synthetic, and by all means, we don't dabble with synthetics here, ladies and gentlemen. It's all real in these parts. At least so, I hope so. I mean, this watch, I mean, I'm not rich, so I don't really have a Lamborghini. So I guess that would be a synthetic part of my lifestyle. But that's not the point. Point is, there are people out there who have influence in this world, but do nothing with it. But when they do have a chance to rise to the occasion to actually, I don't know, accurately represent the people they claim to give so many of those infinite fucks about, they let them down because they do not understand with how much magnitude is carried on their back. I mean, do you know Caitlyn Jenner? Do you care about Caitlyn Jenner? But here she is on mainstream TV. Picture it. You and her standing side by side. No one cares about you because you're just a regular human being. But her, she's a hero. She's the maximum amount of courage you can have in a human being. She is the perfect man, woman, entity, human, humanoid. She's the perfect thing that she wants to be, masquerading as whatever assortment of chromosomes that you would wish to assign to their gender. Now, the thing about this is once you're on the Ellen DeGeneres show, the place where you're supposed to be, I don't know, pushing your platform or actually raising the bar standards or actually promoting whatever it is you have to say, when you come out and just say that you support the conservative lifestyle, not because you agree with their values, but the best of your ability to sum it up is, I've always been a traditionalist. Always been a traditionalist. What is traditional about whack? I'm a woman now. Traditional. It's been around for generations. This has been a thing that dates back to the 1412s, I'll tell you, before Christopher Columbus even strolled his happy ass over here, before we even had a country. Traditional. Republicans have been fighting in almost every state, especially every red state where they have their dominance or the majority, to make sure that gay marriage was not a thing, to make sure that you transgendered people were not allowed to be happy, having that huge thing called the separation of church and states, but always finding a way to get them to mesh and intermingle for the Christian faith. But no, here you come. Oh, here you come, Mrs. Motivational Speaker, or Mr. Flavor of the Month. I really don't know what to call you at this point because, let's be honest here, when you call yourself transgender, you say that you're a man that has become a woman, and that's fine. But here's the problem with that. When you were born a man that becomes a woman, well, what about a woman that was born a woman and stays a woman? Are you as much of a woman as them? Because then you get into this whole argument of semantics and all these type of things, and you get into the science of your estrogen levels were synthetically injected into you, which makes it not as real. You still have the Adam's apple thing in most cases. Then you get into this whole thing of, I don't know. You see these faces? These are the faces that most people would end up making. And then there's people who won't acknowledge your gender change. And then what you see, it's all good and gravy. Other people see this. What is this? This isn't a white square. This isn't a yellow ensemble. I mean, you may think it's good over here because it's partially right. It's partially right here, but then everywhere else, something's amiss. Something's gone awry. Everything is not as solved, and everything is not as clear as it once was or as it could be. But if you're going to represent those people who stick up for you, by God, you're supposed to represent them in the best way. Not this half-hearted, cheeky shit around the bend, hiding behind whatever mannerisms you want to. It's not how it works. It doesn't fly that way. You can't sit here and play both sides of the fence. Because regardless of if you acknowledge it or not, or if you like it or not, everything you say as the new pillar or the new foothold or stronghold for all transgender people, not just now, not just of the past, but of the future, the people that you're supposed to quote-unquote inspire, have to see you say things like this, you really got to scratch your head and question, do you really give a damn? Or are you just here for easy money? My vote's on the money. I'm going to scrabble this Rubik's Cube and solve it again. So, till next time, dear viewer.